What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today it is episode number 94, and it's very close to deadline day. And while we start on the profile of Fontana, a player who I desperately wanted to sign, but in good old Towler fashion, we couldn't get a work permit, and he didn't want to join without a work permit. I'm a little bit sad about it, to be honest, but the good news is, results on the pitch, they're cheering me up. Since you were last here, we've played 3 games. Of course, final last-minute warning. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, go do it because let's have a look at what games we've got coming up, shall we? We have the game against Bristol City in the EFL Cup. And given what has been a fantastic January, albeit lots of cup games in here, I'm feeling on top of the world. I'm feeling like we can take on anyone. So we're going to do, as a second game today, the game against Manchester City, who currently sit top and pretty of the Premier League. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but, well, hopefully we can get the job done against Bristol. Of course, we beat them 2-0 last time we met. Molyneux and Shuttleworth, with 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, secured the win. And that gives us a really, really good position going into the EFL Cup semi-final second leg, where the winner will take on Liverpool at Wembley. And Liverpool this year have been very, very rubbish. They have sacked their manager. They're down in 10th. You can see during this entire save, they have not dropped lower than 4th. And they are just having the season from hell. Granted, things are very close around the mid-table, so they could very quickly recover. It's been quite a weird Premier League season. You will notice, by the way, here, that we currently sit in 16th place, and we have games in hand on pretty much everyone around us. We have, found some really good form, and that has come largely via Shvetsov. So anyway, since you were last here, 3 matches played. The first game in the FA Cup, of course, we played Preston before, drew. I played a full team, and a first team this time, and it worked out in our favour. 4-0 win, good little result there. Then in the FA Cup 4th round, just half a week later, we took on Manchester United away from home. And an inspired performance of sorts, I suppose. We were on the back foot for big spells in this game. Both of us were playing fairly rotated sides. They were probably playing a more rotated side. But for us, Diakite was on the pitch. And, well, you can see here, he got 2 goals to his name, just sniffing around in the box from set pieces. Unfortunately, we did concede late on. I switched to cautious to try and shut up shop, and it just didn't really work. So 2-2 it finished. Not a bad result. It means that we have a FA Cup 4th round second leg to play. Some more fixture congestion. However, the winner of that game is going to play the winner of Manchester City and Chelsea, I think. And they may have even played. Let's have a look. Okay, so Chelsea won on... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, Chelsea won on a replay, I suppose. But either way, Chelsea are the team who wins game. If it had been an easier opposition, I might be a bit more keen to throw a full first team 11 into that game against Manchester United. But with how things are going, I feel like the focus needs to remain on the league. Anyway, one other game we've played, we took on Burnley. Of course, they spanked us at the start of the year. A much better performance here. Shvetsov with some really tidy finishing. And all in all, just good to get another win on the board. We have now won 4 of our 5 last league games, or 5 of our last 7 league games. Yes, the goals have really started to just come. Defensively, we've looked a lot more solid. And, well, a few of the new boys playing in this game. Maggi at centre-back, and also Douglas, who has been out a little bit. He's still trying to get some match fitness going, but we've been giving him some game time here and there. Looking solid so far, but, yeah, Samuele Maggi he's just found form straight away, which is great to see. Of course, he's not played that many games, but so far, cautiously optimistic. I think he's going to be a very, very good player for us. Anyway, I have updated the coach that I have set assigned to show the star ratings. If you don't know, because I know some people don't know this, if you go to your responsibilities and then go to staff, advice and reports, here you can change the scout whose player reports you see at the top. So Ivo Ivanov is our head of youth development, but he also has the best judging player ability and potential. So he's an ideal candidate for this. So a few of the stars have updated. We should have a really good idea, I guess, in terms of potential of who's doing their thing. You'll notice here I have loaned out Diakite. I really wanted to send him on loan to the Championship. I was hoping a Championship team would be interested in him. They weren't. So he's now gone to Crawley Town, which is a very interesting one. A fate that some would argue is worse than death. Going to Crawley, but hopefully he's going to get regular first team football. It's League One football. He should absolutely dominate the league. But at 19 years old, I feel like game time is going to be pretty essential to his development. So, yeah, keep an eye on him. Hopefully he comes back in the summer, just a completely new man. Like a monk who goes away into the mountains and comes back enlightened. That's what I'm hoping we're going to see from his trip to Crawley. But in terms of general team news, we've been pretty fortunate. Hugo is suspended for today's game, which is a little bit of a shame. But on the whole, it's pretty much a full-strength squad besides that. You'll see here Matasevic clocking up some decent minutes this year. Like, I have been bringing him in quite a lot. He's been developing a lot off the back of that. He's still very unhappy. He was trying to force a loan in the winter window, but the best offers I had were from League One teams, and I would just rather have him playing in our first team than playing in League One, which I think is fair enough. I wonder if our club reputation means that Championship teams aren't really willing to take a punt on our players. It's kind of interesting, of all the teams that we've loaned players to in the Championship, MK Dons have become like a little feeder club that we almost send players away to. And I feel like that's the reason that they're loaning our players is because they have the lower rep than us. They are the only team in the Championship with a smaller reputation than us. So they are loaning a load of our players. Just speaking of our loans, because we've got a lot going on, and I do feel like it's worth just having a look at, who's developing, who's doing well. You can see here a list of all the loanings that we've got going on, and Eric is having a very, very good loan spell at Blackburn Rovers. The 19-year-old looks really, really solid, to the point where I'm not sure if he would break into the first team next year, but I'm almost tempted to offer him to Blackburn again on loan and see what he can actually do. He's played 27 games for them, got 8 goals, 3 assists as well. And you can see just as of late, his development has kind of exploded a little bit. I really do feel like game time can make a big, big difference. You can see here in terms of other players out on loan, Darren Budd getting a surprisingly large amount of first-team football in the Championship, largely off the bench. Not doing very well off the bench either, it would be fair to say. Hopefully he can step it up a little bit. In terms of goal scoring, you can see Eric Jr., who's on loan at Bristol City, of course. We signed Eric, and I think I called him Mini Eric at one point, and I realised with him kind of being Spanish, Eric Jr. made more sense. But Eric and Eric Jr., I mean, you can see why Eric Jr. is called Eric Jr. They're very similar players. They're both Spanish. They're both the same age. I mean, they're brothers from another mother. It's the only logical explanation, but they're both doing pretty well on loan in the Championship this year. So, yeah, on the whole, things are good. I feel like Inangi also deserves a little mention. He was a player labelled as a hot prospect at the club once upon a time. And to be honest, as far as centre-backs go, at 19 years old, he looks very, very solid. He's played 15 games in the Championship. And I don't know, I've got high hopes for a few of the youngsters still in the team. I feel like it's always worth just giving you a little update on who's developing well. Of course, we have got our youth intake that's going to be happening in a couple of months. Has there been any update? It doesn't appear so. But an excellent group of players. Everyone calm down. Don't get too excited just yet. But anyway, let's get into today's game. In terms of the team we're going to go with, it's going to be what has become a fairly settled starting 11. We're going to go with Walton in goal. Pittman, who has really come out into his own. He has really stepped it up as of late, it feels like. I've noticed him making a lot more... a lot fewer, rather, just glaring mistakes, which is obviously always a plus from your defenders. Maggi and Pavlovic are going to play at centre-back, Mr. Dessa at right-back, and Mr. Dessa's improving a little bit, everyone. He is continuing to develop. I'm feeling a little less worried about that relegation release clause he has in his contract now with our recent form. In centre-mid, we're going to go with Dragomir and Matcha for this game. Full strength, no nonsense. Kosic out on the left, Shuttleworth out on the right, Shvetsov and Molyneux up top for today's game, and that is Molyneux over Dylan Turnbull, and the reason for that is Molyneux has just found form, everyone. He had a really slow start to the year, and then he just clicked. He just snapped. He reached a level that I wasn't sure he had in his tank, and he has just been scoring goals for fun, and I do feel like he has been a massive, massive factor just behind our recent kind of improvements in performance as of late. Anyway, in good old Jack fashion, I was one continue short of actually getting to the start of the game, but as a little bonus, you get to see the fact that the under-18s beat Liverpool's under-18s in the FA Youth Cup, and Maron got player of the match because he joined us in January for £2,000. And, well, let's get into this game, shall we? It's a huge one, but we do go in with the upper hand. Let's see what we can do here. You can see Eric Jr. and Jimmy Morrison, two of our players actually out on loan at Bristol City right now, unavailable for them. Two players who have featured semi-frequently in the first team as well. So they're a little bit weak and they're a wounded animal. We're 2 goals up. This should be straightforward. This is the appetizer, you know. We're wheeling it out. It's a little, I guess, tantaliser ahead of the Manchester City game, which I don't know why I've decided that doing the game against the team top of the league is a good idea, but I guess I just like inflicting misery on myself. Who knows? We've been in really good form. We've got a few tough games in the month of February. We've navigated ourselves through some fairly tricky fixtures this month, but definitely winnable ones. I am anticipating that our form is going to drop off in the near future just because next month, it's hard. It's really hard. Some of the games we've got coming up, and Manchester City is really only the beginning of that. But anyway, let's see what we can do here. We're going to play the attacking 4-4-2 at least to start this game, of course. Last time we met them, it was a weird game. We were on the front foot in the first half. In the second half, they changed some things around and were already applying the pressure. And then we switched to the counter-attacking system. And with 10 minutes left, as they desperately looked for a goal at home, we hit them on the break twice. Just with explosive pace. And I think in that game, it was Molineux on off the bench who really made a difference. He gets the start today. We'll see how they get on as Pavlovic lumps it forward to Molineux, the man of the moment. Look at us in our green suit. Iconic. Anyway, focus on the action, Jack. Molineux whips it in. Back post, Kosic narrowly over the bar. I'll tell you what, Vinko Kosic has not had a good year. He has not had a good year. I wonder if he's found his limit. It's a shame because I really, really like him as a player and he's homegrown at club. So it kind of puts him in a situation where he's probably always going to be in the squad. I would never really consider selling him because he can play left and right mid. But I would love to see him just find some form and find his groove at this level. It's something he's not done yet. But he's in possession now. Maybe we're foreshadowing here. Pittman. Backing Davis into a corner. Falls to Kosic. Hit that Kosic. Oh my word. Hit the woodwork. Hit the keeper on the back. And goes wide. But the best chance of the game so far going in our favour just before half-time. Still a set piece to deal with. Although that is not a particularly good ball into the box. And barring a very late chance, which there is going to be one, so hold the phone. It's whipped in. Maggi! Oh, Dragomir, did you need to head that in? I thought Maggi was about to get his first ever goal for Taulor in a live com. It would have been beautiful. Did Dragovic need to touch it? I mean, those lines are equal. They're flashing. I don't think he needed to head it. He's just stolen the goal away from Maggi. That is like a kid's school ground football mistake, isn't it? One player desperate for the goal who's in an offside position goes for the tap-in with the ball already goal-bound. Apparently, Molineux's been error-prone today. You know what, Jimmy? Going to take you off. I'm going to bring in Dylan Turnbull. Dragomir's been poor as well, and I'm going to bring in Matasevic. Let's just continue to give the youngster some game time. Can get a good 40 minutes here. We've been on the front foot for most of this game, so hopefully that is going to just be the trend that continues. One more goal, and I would feel very good about our predicament that we find ourselves in. Maybe Kosic can be the man to inspire us. He plays it across. I think he was trying to pick out Shuttleworth there, but that pass was poor. Now with Butler surging through. What are we doing defensively? Butler, what a tackle by Pavlovic. It fell to their other striker and he's put it wide of the post. That is a bit of a let-off. I'm not particularly thrilled at the fact this game is 0-0, but we have limited our opportunities, at least in the first half. And one goal you'd feel like would just... I feel like that would kill the tie at this point, which is kind of what I'm looking for here, as Perry's in possession, gives it to Shuttleworth, plays it forward. Shvetsov, can he tuck it away? Saved by the keeper, gets the rebound in. 25 for the season for Andrei Shvetsov. And I don't want to get kind of too carried away yet, but I think we're on our way to Wembley, folks. The gazebo. It's the gazebo is just... It inspires our players. I can't explain it. It's like a little shrine. Anyway, lovely goal. Shvetsov tucks it into the bottom corner. Look at the Taulor badge on the flags. It looks so cool, doesn't it? I love the new badge. I know it. Most of you were like, yeah, it's really cool. A lot of you were like, it feels different. I hope it's grown on you now. It's grown on me. It's grown on me more and more, actually, which is unusual. Sometimes you make something... Anyone who does anything creative, I'm sure you've done it, where you make something and you go back to it a week later and decide that you hate it. Or that you wish you could change a load of stuff. I've not really had that vibe yet. Anyway, Mr. Dessa out on the wide position here. Whips in. Turnbull's there. He's offside. Stop celebrating, Jack. Stop your celebrating. Dylan. I mean, was this one offside? The last one was highly debatable. That one, I'll give it to him. There's daylight there. Anyway, 5 minutes left this game. 3-0 on aggregate. Game, set and match. Taulor Town. We're taking on Liverpool. A Liverpool team who have not been particularly good this year. And that is going to just be absolutely huge for us. Hopefully, just this cup run is going to have helped our rep. Matcha now scores his first ever Taulor Town goal. It's not in the most memorable of circumstances, perhaps. It's not a goal that's going to single-handedly win us the game as a last gasp winner, but make no mistake, the misery compiler is signed, sealed and dealed. Game, set and matcha. Taulor Town, we take the win. That was awful. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to do with myself anymore. Anyway, 4-0 on aggregate. We'll take that every day of the week. Good little performance. Never really looked in doubt. 2 clean sheets over 2 legs against Bristol City is quite impressive. And, well, we're on our way to Wembley. Mr. Dessa, a bit of a fitness concern for him, of course. Fixture congestion here is absolutely horrific. We have played 8 games in the month of January. February is looking equally as booked up, and you can see we have that game now on the 3rd of March. That will be next episode. Oh, I'm excited. A trip to Wembley, that was not on the cards at the start of the year now, was it? And I mean, look at the league table makes for pretty reading as well. It's all coming up Millhouse. It's all looking very, very good. Anyway, there is deadline day here, but I don't think I'm going to be doing any crazy business. I might have a little poke around, but I'm going to get straight into the game against Manchester City. It's going to be a big one. Savour this. Maybe I'll go crazy on the last day of the transfer window, although that feels a little unrealistic. But no, let's get into the game. Manchester City at home, taking on the league leaders. Let's see if we can open up the title race for Manchester United or Chelsea, shall we? Okay guys, so deadline day has come, it's gone, and the only player who was to leave us was Ilya Matasevic, who has gone to Millwall. I don't know why I was thinking so much about that. It says it right here. But yes, he's joined the League One outfit. I just feel like it might be a good loan move for him. He's not been that happy at the club for a little while. I'm hoping that a bit of a mental reset perhaps for him can, cheer him up, playing some regular first team football down in League One, more than adequate for that level. I think all in all it should be a good little move for him. Anyway, today we're going to be taking on Manchester City. It's a tricky game, it's a tough game, they're top of the league. I mean, come on now, we're not expecting ourselves to win this one. Of course, we are going to switch to the cautious mentality, and with that in mind, I think I'm going to bring in Dylan Turnbull to play ahead of Molyneux, just because I feel like he's a little bit better as a pressing forward, a little bit better defensively, out of possession. I feel like he can really do a job for us. In terms of the rest of the team, I'm going to go with an unchanged lineup. I have rested the players ahead of this game. Still not a great deal of time, I guess, to reset following on from the Bristol City game, but we have slowly but surely started to find a settled 11. And so with that in mind, I'm going to stick with what's been working. I feel like that just makes the most sense, at least right now. Over time, I'm sure that Douglas, the new Brazilian defender, will find himself in the first team. But with him joining us in January, where of course the Brazil season is finished, he's still just building up some match sharpness. Anyway, Football Manager has decided it wants to take forever to load up and find ourselves in the game, so I'm going to go, well, no, I take it back. That's typical, isn't it? I've talked about this 1,000,001 times. For some reason, the game just has these weird moments where it seems to take forever to get in a match for me. No idea what causes it. No idea if there's a fix for it. If you've had it yourself, please let me know. I've said that like 4 or 5 times during this series, but it's reared its head again there, and kind of oddly enough, it's kind of caught me out by immediately loading as I say, I'll go AFK until it comes back. But anyway, let's get into this, shall we? No messing around, and well, the gazebo. Hopefully it can inspire us today as Vinicius Jr. cuts forward and, well, Walton makes a save. And Walton, he's had his critics, but I think most of you have been won over by him now. And I'll be honest, in goal, well, it was a disappointment not to be able to get Fontana, the Argentine keeper we looked at last episode. I'm pretty happy with Walton in goal. I feel like he's done a pretty good job for us on the whole this year, especially given the task. He's had so many shots going in his direction, and he's been one of our best goalkeepers, I feel like, during our entire time here at Towler, which really does say a lot. Anyway, we're out of possession, which isn't entirely surprising, and City working the ball around nicely. They whip it in. Walton again collecting it. What a beautiful man he is. Stops the effort. Now, how's your distribution, Walton? What can you do? Drum roll, please. Can he pick out a man? He lumps it for Dylan Turnbull, flicks it on. Shvetsov could get on that. He does get on that. He hits the woodwork. Oh, the first real fantastic opportunity the game falls our way, and the woodwork denies us. It was a little bit Route 1. It wasn't particularly sexy, but it almost worked out perfectly. But now we do need to defend him. Vinicius Jr. finding space, finding their goal, but I'll tell you who else he's finding. The gloves of Walton. He can't be beaten in goal, at least not yet, after 15 minutes. There's still plenty of time. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Anyway, Manchester City building the play up from the back. Vinicius Jr. inside to Kai Havertz. Now with Phil Foden. They've got quite a good team, is what I'm noticing here. I can see why they are top of the league. Now they go to Lecetta. Now with Phil Foden, Havertz. Marcus Alonso? It's not Mark. I'm going to make up a name for him. Marcus A. What does the A stand for? I think Alonso. Who knows? Anyway, Havertz puts it wide to Garcia. Can we stop the ball being whipped in? No, Vinicius Junior with it. Options at the edge of the box. Havertz is there. Shot block. Falls back to Vinicius Junior. Walton makes a save. And no one comes to his rescue. No one can hear his screams. No one is going to help him. Manchester City take the lead in this game. And I don't know, it had been building for a little while. I thought, after the initial save, maybe that was the chance gone. But of course it fell, as you can see here, just into the path of Ashley Walker, who, I've got to show you guys, signed from Reading if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you can see here, signed from Reading for Manchester City for £1 million. He's pretty blooming good. He's insane. 25 years old, England international. Maybe one day we'll have a player as good as him. For £1 million, I mean, whoever was the Manchester City scout who unearthed him, I've got to give them a round of applause. He's an insane player. Anyway, we are on the attack here. Now we're not. We've given away the ball. Vinicius Junior bringing it forward. A quick double to concede would not be good at all for our confidence. And well, fortunately for us, Vinicius Junior is going to skew his effort wide of the post. Just going to try and demand a little bit more of the players. We've not really been at the races. I mean, it's still only a 1-goal margin, but the cautious mentality hasn't paid dividends just yet, to the point where I'm tempted to go attacking and see what we can do. And well, we almost have to now. Vinicius Junior smashes it into the bottom corner. Thunderous effort from range. I wonder if Walton is caught slightly off-sighted there. The kind of shot that maybe you expect him to stop, but then again, it's coming from one of the world's best players. And it is like inch perfectly into the bottom corner. I mean, it's just a nuts goal. I think the defender was blocking his sight anyway. Anyway, I'm going to go more attacking. We're going to go shouty at the players and try and get a response before half-time. But it's not looking good and it's not looking pretty. And I feel like this might be, well, reality coming back and slapping us in the face. Because we have been doing quite well as of late. And, well, it could all get undone here. Ball hits the woodwork. Pittman lumps it clear. Walton for a second looked questionable. Manchester City knocking on the door. Can we stop them entering? I mean, with saves like that from Walton, maybe for a little bit, but it does feel like this game is going to be one of those ones where it's just a case of trying to survive the 12 rounds. We've just got to try and keep going, but I don't think the win is really on the card so far, boys. I am not happy with this performance. Dylan Turnbull looks stressed. Let's give him a little passionate, you've got what it takes. Look at that. I'm just very good at the man management thing, folks. I know how to talk to all the individuals in the team. But anyway, I mean, it's only 2-0. It's only 2-0. Maybe I shouldn't discount us just yet, but you have to kind of look across their team and realise we're a little bit against it today, perhaps. Anyway, I'm going to bring in Molyneux out in the wide areas. And, 2-0 at this point, I would kind of take. That would be a good result, I feel like, in the grand scheme of things. There is only 20 minutes left. This second half has not really lived up to the first. Going to make a few changes. Let's bring in Alex Blesser for a game. With the loaning out of Matasevic, Blesser's going to come in and be kind of a backup box-to-box for us when we need it. Schwetzel's been poor today, but I'm going to keep some faith in him. We're going to bring in Mihail and see what he can do. Just in the last few moments of this game, I feel like I might as well go very attacking and go for one last shouty moment, but I mean, 2-0 feels quite good. Who would have thought going from cautious to attacking would see us just hold firmer at the back? Molyneux whips it in. Awar clears it up to Matcha. Got a goal in his last game, his first Town or Town goal. For a second, I thought he was going to get another. The expectations clearly elevated after one goal. Unfortunately, he was dispossessed, and well, it's Manchester City bringing the ball forward here. Phil Foden switches it onto the left-hand side. Vinicius Junior with space cuts it across, and Ashley Walker heads it into the far post. A superb goal. Can't even really be mad at that one. I feel like we can see why Manchester City are top of the league. We gave them a good game. We didn't just roll on our backs and die, having conceded a couple of goals in the first half. We pushed them to the end, but unfortunately, they just have a bit more quality than us, and that's kind of just something we've got to accept, I feel like. If we can keep it to 3-0, in a weird way, I'd be oddly satisfied with it. I'll tell the players they were unlucky today, but I don't know, we'll look at that game and maybe worry a little, but then we have to realise, in the grand scheme of things, our season is not really going to be dictated by how we do against the likes of Manchester City. Anyway, in terms of fixtures we've got coming up, we've got Manchester United in the FA Cup. I'm not going to worry about that one. As I said, the winner of that FA Cup game plays Chelsea. And don't back us for a cup run, I'm afraid to say. In terms of other upcoming games, we've got Southampton, who are bottom. And then we follow that up with a few really, really tricky games to end the month. 3 of the 4 away from home as well. We take on Chelsea, Manchester United, Everton and Norwich. They're not going to be easy, and they're all going to lead towards the EFL Cup final, where we will be next time. I do anticipate us to slip down the league just a little bit in the coming games. Of course, we have got matches in hand, I suppose. But I feel like wins are going to be hard to come by, with perhaps the exception of that Southampton game. And yeah, it's although this month here looks absolutely fantastic, a lot of it is cup games. And when you look at the league table, there's a lot of challenge ahead of us. Granted, a few teams aren't in particularly great form. But I don't know, with 14 games left of the season, I am not kind of considering for a second we are out of the woods of a potential relegation dogfight. But anyway, folks, that's all from me today. Thank you for watching. As always, tomorrow, EFL Cup final. I'm excited. You should be too. I'll see you then. It's me, Jack, and I'm out.